The now infamous accident on Ride of Steel at what is now Six Flags Darien Lake has been used as an example of a roller coaster being unsafe. It has also been used as an example of amusement park negligence in regard to guest safety. Many online clickbait top 10 channels have falsely described the accident as dramatically as this.
The attraction is a popular destination for locals, including 29-year-old Sergeant James Hackemer, who was visiting with his family. Hackemer had lost his left leg and most of his right one, as well as part of his hip, in an IED explosion while serving in Iraq. Due to his disabilities, Hackemer and family asked the park staff which rides would be safe for him, with one of the workers reportedly telling them they're all fine. So, that being the case, Hackemer took on the Ride of Steel with his nephew Ashton, who assisted him onto the coaster.
In reality, this accident is greatly misrepresented online. It has gotten so bad that it's almost slanderous to Six Flags Darien Lake to describe it in this way. Here's what really happened. What most videos get right is that James Hackemer, who was missing both legs due to an IED blast, entered Darien Lake July 8, 2011. Then, contrary to most videos, he was directed to a guest information booth for information about safety procedures for disabled guests. He was then offered a pamphlet about safety for disabled guests. He refused the pamphlet, claiming he already had one. He then made his way directly to Ride of Steel with his nephew. He entered the ride through the exit, as is standard procedure for disabled guests at most parks. There was a safety sign posted on both the entrance and the exit to the ride, stating that riders must have 2 legs to ride. Hackemer either did not see or ignored this warning. Due to the fact that he was entering through the exit, his height was not checked prior to entering the ride. Hackemer was at least 7 inches short of the ride's 54-inch height requirement due to his disability. This is where the park was at fault. The ride operators should have noticed that Hackemer did not have 2 legs and that he was unable to ride. They failed to do this and allowed him to enter the ride station. At this point, Hackemer should have asked a ride operator for help boarding, but he instead insisted to have his nephew help him into the train. The ride operators checked the restraint as usual. Here, they should have noticed Hackemer's disability and asked him to leave the ride. They did not. The restraint lock light appeared on the operator panel, and the operators dispatched the ride as usual. Hackemer stayed within the ride through 2 moments of negative Gs, the first drop and the first airtime hill. On the second airtime hill, approaching the second helix, he reportedly reached up to stop his hat from falling. This is when the negative Gs of the ride ejected him from his seat. When the ride returned to the station, all of the restraints were still locked in place. This accident was horrendous, but certainly not entirely Darien Lake's fault. The ride itself was not at all responsible for the death, as all of its safety restraints never failed. The guest, in this case Hackemer, is about 35% at fault for failing to follow multiple safety instructions given to him by the park, and the park is about 65% responsible, as the employees should have known that a man without legs should not be allowed onto this ride.